We're going to see more change in the world of healthcare and medical care in the next 5 years than we have seen in the last 100. The centuries-old relationship between doctor and patient is changing as a result of the hyperconnectivity that we find ourselves in the world today, and as technology comes to change the speed of innovation in the world of healthcare. I'm Jim Carroll, and I'm a futurist trends and innovation expert, and I spend my time with organizations around the world helping them understand the key trends which are going to challenge their future and how to turn those trends into opportunity. I will put into perspective the key trends and challenges that come from a world in which the future belongs to those who are fast. There is an absolute acceleration of the science of healthcare. It is estimated that the volume of medical knowledge is now doubling every 8 years. The volume of knowledge that a medical professional needs to know to do his or her job is changing at a furious pace. And that's the context of the innovation that you need to work within as you go forward into a faster future. We are witnessing the acceleration of medical technologies, new forms of diagnosis, new forms of treatment. We are witnessing the impact of the Internet of Things as technology becomes embedded in all kinds of medical devices. Wherever you look, there are furious rates of change which surround us today. And how do you innovate in the context of a world in which change is happening faster than ever before? The impact of the Internet of Things is absolutely staggering. Every device which is a part of our daily life is becoming plugged in, and it is certainly happening quickly with medical device technology. It changes the very nature of the devices that we are putting out into the marketplace. It provides for opportunities to do things we haven't done before, but it presents unique challenges in terms of the very architecture and role of those products. Are we thinking these through in terms of what we need to be doing to align ourselves to a world in which the world of medical technology is truly changing at the speed and pace of computer technology? Futurist Jim Carroll from the virtual broadcast studio, where I'm working hard to put into perspective the reality for individuals as we begin to enter into a post-COVID world. The signs are there that we are beginning to see some sort of return to a world that we knew before. And I've started up a video series, Ask.A.Futurist, to give people a chance to ask me, what does our world look like going forward from here? Well, one of the questions that came in today was, what's the future of pharmacies? What's the future of community pharmacies? I'm a pharmacist. What does my world look like in the post-COVID economy? And this is actually a great question. Look, over a 25-year time span, I've spent time with most of the world's leading pharmaceutical companies, healthcare organizations, medical insurers, medical device companies, and just about everybody else in the sector, providing high-focused, high leadership insight into what comes next. And look, just prior to COVID-19 unfolded, I was with the global leadership team of Pfizer in Paris for a discussion on what's happening in the future of healthcare and the future of pharmaceuticals. Let's take on the question. I think a lot of what we are discovering is found in this chart right here. This is a chart which I shared a number of weeks ago, which really put in perspective that what we are seeing with some of the mRNA vaccine technology, it's not as if the path that we are on today is the sudden result of a rapid medical science, certainly a part of what has happened, but the technology around this particular vaccine approach has been with us for quite some time as a result of the basic acceleration frog in my throat. As a result of the basic acceleration of everything having to do with medical science, you can actually trace back the fact that we saw the arrival of the vaccine in less than 1 year for COVID-19 to the combination of a whole variety of very fast scientific trends. And so the thing we need to think about when we are thinking about the future of the pharmaceutical and pharmacy sector is that a lot of the trends which were playing out before COVID are still with us, but the real impact is that they have sped up to a remarkable degree. What has really happened here is that the future has become faster than ever before. Take the concept of curbside pickup, online shopping, everything pharmacists have had to align to in terms of the reality of this new consumer. The consumer has changed forever and they're not going back. Part of what was happening as well before COVID-19 hit was consumers were becoming more engaged with their healthcare circumstances. This was as a result of medical information online, but not just that, medical device connectivity by which we could become more engaged with our healthcare circumstances. Whether it's remote internet connected blood glucose monitoring devices, remote medically connected blood pressure devices, what has happened here is the arrival of a whole bunch of technology that allows the consumer to become more engaged with their healthcare circumstances. And what this is doing is it's providing an opportunity for medical professionals and pharmacists to forge a change in the nature of the relationship with the patient. What is the result of COVID-19? Well, the fact is that medical device companies, Silicon Valley computer companies, high-tech visionaries are now looking at this trend and realizing there is a market to be pursued. There is an opportunity to accelerate the technology of bioconnectivity to enhance and play into this trend. Another significant trend has to do with the acceleration of medical knowledge. Years ago, I would explain on stage that we were in a situation in which the volume of global medical knowledge was doubling every 8 years. It is now estimated that as a result of COVID-19, the volume of medical knowledge is now doubling every 78 days. The typical pharmacist today is faced with new methodologies, new forms of diagnosis, the rapid arrival of new forms of treatment, very complex situations where it's true that learning is what most pharmacists will have to do for a living in the 21st century because we are seeing a rapid acceleration of everything having to do with the science of pharmaceuticals and the science of healthcare. This has been driven by the fact that what we have witnessed is a massive acceleration in the collaboration that has occurred within the global medical and scientific community. What has happened here is through the last year, every single medical science and pharmaceutical research organization has learned to work to collaborate at speed. And this has fundamentally changed the entire process of drug discovery, the entire process of what are we doing with pharmaceutical pipelines, what we are doing in terms of new forms of diagnosis, new forms of treatment, not to forget the remarkable and fascinating things that have occurred with pharmacogenetics and the acceleration of genomic-based pharmaceutical science. This is a staggering trend. And so what we really need to think about is, as a community pharmacist, we are going to continue to be inundated with fast science, a fast changing consumer behavior, the acceleration of medical device connectivity, consumers who are more engaged with their health, and continued ongoing expectations in terms of the retail relationship with that consumer. And it's going to be our ability to change and align to these trends that will define our future. It's not just that. We can see some of the more science fiction oriented trends such as ingestible pill technology coming at us faster. We can see Silicon Valley with medical device connectivity in its crosshairs coming up with all kinds of innovative new devices by which the consumer gets more engaged with their healthcare circumstances. The next generation doctor, pharmacist coming out of college, more involved with technologies like virtual reality, augmented reality. We can only begin to imagine the change that we are going to see in the next 5 years. And the reason for that is because what COVID-19 has done, it has shifted the axis of the universe. It has accelerated industries. It accelerated the core of the global pharmaceutical industry. Not just that, it's a disruptive shift. Hospitals are going virtual. The impact of telemedicine is such that hospitals have realized that their facility is no longer defined by the four walls of their building. It is defined by the virtual reach of the connectivity that it has put in place with their community partners, with medical professionals, with patients, and with pharmacists. And so what is critical is your ability to align to this new virtualization of everything having to do with healthcare. In the context of all that, it's still customer service excellence that is going to drive your success. It's still the hands-on nature, the personal relationship that you have with the patient coming into your pharmacy who will define your success. What you need to think about is, what am I going to do to align to the fast-paced trends which are changing my future, but keep focused on the core and essence of what makes me successful as a community pharmacist going forward into the future. These are the types of questions that I'm taking on with my Ask.A.Futurist video series. If you have a question about the future, if you have a question about our post-COVID reality, if you have a question about what comes next, send a question via ask.jimcarroll.com, and I'll take it on with a little customized video segment like this and encourage you to think about what you need to do to align to your future in a world in which the future belongs to those who are fast. That's it for now. Futurist Jim Carroll from the Virtual Broadcast Studio.